I've been emailed and messaged recently asking me if I could tell you how you can modify your Flat Eric large plush back into a puppet, which was originally intended by the company Vivid before it was intervened by Quentin Duplex on some sort of grounds of artistic reinterpretation crap. So these were originally going to be identical to the one on the advert, and you could actually do your own puppet show, but because of the problems they had to make it into just a plush. I'm going to show you a simple way how to make it back into a puppet. I mean, there is not really much to it. I've made a few additional extras to mine, like the bendable arms, but to make it back into sort of a puppet, so you can make his mouth move, you basically just open up its backside again, because all they did was sew it up. So really, you find the seam. I've removed the tag from here as well, but there's the seam, simple really, and you carefully, you could do with like a scalpel or a very sharp knife, and just pick out the stitching. Eventually, when you know, be careful with it, you don't want to rip the whole fabric as such, but once you've taken out the stitching, you can either sew the ends up here, just tie them in so they don't spread and open up all the rest of it. I just sewn it into the legs, and once you're in there, you can find that it's stuffed with your basic environmental friendly foam, and you'll probably have to take a bit of it out to dig in there, but once you're in there you can make your hand all the way up to its head, and once you're in this head you'll find the mouth itself is like a plastic duck bill that's got a lot of foam around it, so you just pull out this stuff, this here, so you can get your hand around it, or move it around the head, and it basically goes back into the shape of the head anyway. Once you're in there, you find it's straightforward. You're back in there, and then your mouth moves. So that's all there is to it. That is all there is to it. Just open up that, and you're in there. You might have to move a bit of the stuffing around, but once you're in, you then can basically, you've got your live Flat Eric sort of thing. Yeah. Now all I did extra, apart from adding original Reeboks, which I found at my local car boot, and if you're in America, I don't know, garage sale, flea market. The size is kind of important. What size are these? It's a UK size, child size 4, and I sort of decided on this was the right scale for the toy's foot. So the ones in the original advert, these stripes here were white, but this is as near as damn it. And again, I bought them for like about £1 or £2, so which wasn't expensive, and they're in very good condition. But that's where I got the shoes from, as an additional extra. Once you're inside the head, you can actually feel this plastic sort of bill in there, like a duck bill, inverted. And you can kind of tell it was meant to be, so you can move the mouth like that. Now, that's just one of these. Again, optional. Now, to get the arms to bend like that, this one also had bendable fingers, but some of the mechanisms I put in have kind of got a bit worn out. But the arms, very simple. Inside here, forced that way and that way, is this stuff, which is kind of from garden centres. It's what your plastic flowers are made out of. It's basically plastic with a metal inner that obviously you can bend. And of course, if this does wear out and break, you can just replace it and buy another one. So that's all that is. Now, this is a short piece, but you can get me anything. Imagine the stem of a plastic flower, threaded with wire, That's it, simple. And once that's in there, then you've got, this was a long flower, as you can see, straight through there. I've curved it round his chest so I can get my hand past the wire. So once you're in there, you've got your, get to his mouth, you can move his arms, you can make him hold stuff. I say this one has got miniature versions of these in his fingers, which have become a bit dislodged, but his fingers did actually close like that, so you could grip the certain things. But they say that's just a bit, I just put it in there temporarily. I stuck some pad in there and basically stuck the wire with a plastic shield around. Some of them, they say that one's working. When you put in the plastic covered wire through the arm areas, when you get inside it, obviously you've got to go up through the hole, in through to the top of the shoulder, and then feed one side. Obviously you can bend it. Obviously you've got to go through a certain amount of foam in the arm. Try to disperse it around this as equal as you can, so you get like the wire wants to be roughly in the centre, so you don't get any protrusions coming out here. And feed it right down. It should, if you get the right length, you should try and get down to like the first finger. So like you can see, you can bend the wrist like that. If you do decide to do the fingers as well as the arms in terms of putting the wire in, it's best to do the fingers before you thread the wire through the arm. It's going to be quite a tricky thing because you've got to get the smaller stuff than that. It's about another half the size of this. Cut it to roughly the shape of two fingers in a V. So you're basically going to try and get it inside the fingers like that, or like that. Or if you want all four going, you've got to have two sets of it. So once it's pushed in there, and you can measure it from the outside, trim them down, make sure there's no sharp edges at the end, and you can put two sets of wires in there so his fingers will move and stay in one position, a bit like I think this one still does. There you go. So once you've done the modifications to your fletter 8 plush and stuck some wire up his arse, you can put him in positions like this. Well, thanks for watching this special edition of Adie's Art, which has been a flat Eric plush modification. Next week I'll be showing you how to modify your My Pet Monster toy so it goes and robs a bank. No, I'm joking.